Chapter 61. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After hanging up with Caillou, Chu Yang dialed Bai Pengfei. Hey, Bai, you're not in Honglang right now, are you? He asked as soon as the call connected. Nah, just ran into the city for something, but I'm heading back now. Chu Yang heard the engine of a Cadillac CT5 start up on the other end, you know, gold medal service, Cadillac CT5, cough, 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 never mind, snapping back to attention, Chu Yang quickly stopped Bai Pengfei. Don't go to Honglang, man. Come down to the docks. Whoa, hold on. Why? Did some new spa open up down there? How'd I miss that? Bai Pengfei asked, totally confused. Chu Yang just sighed. It's not a spa, it's fish. I'm back from sea with a boatload. You want any or what? Yeah, man, absolutely. The docks are still a couple of hours out, right? I'll head over now and wait. Bai Pengfei was stoked at the chance for some business. He temporarily shelved his plans for relaxation and gunned it toward the docks. At 9:28 a.m., the Minquanya 01688 pulled into port. This time, it wasn't the usual cargo dock, but a special one just for medium to large fishing boats. Of course, the fees were higher, and you had to wait your turn. Luckily, it was past the rush, and Chu Yang and his crew only had to wait about half an hour. They found their assigned spot, tied up, and paid the docking fee. The berth cost $120 a day, and Chu Yang shelled out $3,600 for a whole month up front. That's seriously pricey, Zhang Hongtao muttered under his breath. No wonder people say you gotta be rich to own a big boat. Even if you're not out fishing, depreciation, maintenance, and berth fees add up to thousands a month. Yeah, it's a killer, but what can you do? Chu Yang knew it was expensive, but he had to pay it. He could have docked at some smaller, cheaper township-level docks, but he wouldn't get top dollar for his seafood there, and he'd end up losing out. So, smarter boat owners sell their catch at the good docks first, then park their boats at the cheaper ones afterward. It costs more in gas, but it saves money overall. But Chu Yang didn't need to nickel and dime like that. As soon as the boat was secure, people started coming up. Got anything good, Captain? Let's see what you got. Yeah, any fresh catch? Got anything worth grabbing? Lobsters? Abalone. Some were fishmongers, some were locals from around the docks, and some were tourists. What they all had in common was a desire for fresh, cheap seafood. Hey, you can't be mad at a smile. Facing potential customers, Chu Yang smiled and gave a slight bow. Sorry, folks, the whole haul's been spoken for by a buyer. If you don't mind, swing by later and see if there's anything left. Hearing that, most of the crowd dispersed right away, especially the fishmongers. If it's already been reserved, why stick around? Waste of time. Only a few locals and tourists hoping to score a deal lingered, peering into the hold, trying to see what treasures might be hidden inside. Within 2 minutes, Caillou and Bai Pengfei, having gotten the call, arrived almost at the same time. Yang, where's the loot? Save some for me, Bai Pengfei yelled as soon as he got out of his car, like he was afraid people wouldn't know he'd already put dibs on everything. The fishmongers who had stayed around frowned. This was hopeless. Everyone knew Bai Pengfei, the dock's resident big spender. He loved throwing money around and driving prices up, and there wasn't much they could do about it. It made them angry. Alright, nothing to see here. The remaining fishmongers said their goodbyes and took off, leaving almost no one behind. Bai Pengfei grinned. His rep as Mr. Moneybags was still going strong at the docks. Mr. Moneybags might have had a big name, but Chu Yang wasn't impressed. 2 groups arrived at once, but Chu Yang chose to greet Caillou first. You made it. Yep, sure did. You've lost weight. Nah, I'm good. Yes, you have, and you're tan. Okay, you got me there. Bai Pengfei grumbled on the side. You guys gonna start making out or what? Caillou glared at him. Why did there always have to be a jerk ruining the mood? Ahem, carry on. Mr. Moneybags might have pushed the fishmongers around, but he couldn't touch Miss Kai. If anything, he had to be nice to her. After all, there were tons of fishmongers at the docks, but only a few high-end restaurants, and everyone wanted to be a supplier. Humph, sassy. Caillou looked away and took Chu Yang's arm. Where are the fish? Show me what you got. Chu Yang gave Bai Pengfei a reassuring look and led Caillou into the cold storage. The first thing she saw was 2 yellowfin tuna, one big, one small. Wow, that one's huge. How did you catch it? Can you even catch tuna with a trawl net? Caillou asked, all wide-eyed. Nah, we pulled it up with a long line. Funny story, the fish basically jumped on the hook itself. I was longline fishing, and there was a squid on the hook. Chu Yang recounted the story, and Caillou's mouth formed an O. That fish must be dumb as a rock. Eating it will probably lower your IQ. Chu Yang chuckled and teased, don't worry about you, you don't have much to lose. Hey, Caillou playfully punched Chu Yang in the arm, then Chu Yang showed her the rest of the haul, with the big red snapper, the white eel, and the enormous green sweet fish. Caillou occasionally exclaimed, so big. So long. So thick. And so many. Bai Pengfei, waiting outside, perked up his ears, intrigued. Was it really that exciting in there? Wasn't it freezing cold? Who knew Miss Kai had such a wild side? When the two emerged, Chu Yang saw Bai Pengfei giving him a look of pure admiration. Wait, what? Don't get any ideas. Caillou ignored him, walked off to the side, pulled out a white Nokia N95, and made a call. After about 3 minutes, she hung up and came back to Chu Yang. Chu Yang, I want both the yellowfin tuna, the red snapper, the white eel, and the golden pomfret. Get me the big ones, and 200 kilograms of green mullet. Hearing that, Bai Pengfei stopped being nosy. So much good fish. Chu Yang hadn't mentioned yellowfin tuna or red snapper on the phone. He grabbed Chu Yang's hand and said. Yang, my man, my brother, can I call you my brother? I'm cool with letting Miss Kai have first pick, but don't leave me hanging here. If she gets the meat, you gotta toss me a bone or two. Chapter 62. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After some back and forth, Chu Yang brokered a deal where Miss Kai conceded the small yellowfin tuna and half the white eel, while keeping the big golden pomfret and amberjack. Chingon. Happy now? Don't say I never give you anything. Caillou flashed Bai Pengfei a pretty smile. She was only backing down to avoid making things difficult for Chu Yang. Otherwise, she would have held her ground. Good fish are hard to come by, and these would fetch a pretty penny at her restaurant. With Chu Yang making money hand over fist, she needed to build up her dowry. Thrilled, absolutely thrilled. Thanks, Miss Kai, thanks, Yang. Tonight. Bai Pengfei was so pumped, he nearly offered another all-inclusive night. Fortunately, Chu Yang coughed just in time to stop him. Dinner's on me tonight. TSK, Caillou scoffed. She owned a restaurant, she wasn't exactly hurting for a free meal. Alright, let's get the fish moved. Right, get the fish. That they both called over their crews to help haul the fish out of the ice hold. Locals and tourists who hadn't wandered off yet crowded around to watch. When the first basket of frozen fish came into view, the onlookers gasped. Damn, that's a huge amberjack. The ones underneath have gotta be over 25 pounds. More like 30. Holy crap, amberjack's going for around $8 a pound now. That fish is worth at least $2,000. This boat captain just hit the jackpot. Bai Pengfei was riding high, but as he listened to the chatter, a knot formed in his stomach. The other fishmongers, seeing they weren't getting a cut, were deliberately trying to inflate the price of the fish. Sure, they could ask for $8 a pound for amberjack at their stores, but that was the selling price. If he paid that, he'd be in the red. Hold on, guys, let's be reasonable. That's the retail price you're talking about, right? $8. I'll sell it to anyone who wants it for that. He retorted, while sneaking a glance at Chu Yang, but Chu Yang just kept smiling, not giving anything away. Bai Pengfei couldn't read him at all. Actually, this was the smartest play for Chu Yang. As a fisherman, he wanted top dollar for his catch, but it was better if he didn't push too hard himself, so he didn't come across as greedy. Having these bystanders inflate the price for him was exactly what he wanted, even if they didn't end up getting the full $8 a pound when they hammered out the deal. Bai Pengfei would be embarrassed to lowball him after all this fanfare. What's he gonna do? After everyone's talking about $8 a pound, try to haggle down to 4 or 5. Wouldn't want to ruin their relationship. Bai Pengfei understood that now. Seeing Chu Yang's calm, steady expression, he cursed under his breath, sly fox. The crew kept moving the fish. 5 baskets of amberjack went by, and the crowd drooled. This guy must have stumbled on a school of amberjack. He's set for life. Just those baskets of amberjack are worth 20 grand. Damn, look at the quality of those fish. Hey, Captain, save some for us to buy. Just as the amberjack stopped coming, the crowd ready to ask what other seafood was left. Then, the crew started hauling out golden pomfret. 1 basket, 2 baskets, 3 baskets. This time, there was even more than the amberjack, 9 baskets in total. Golden pomfret, another prize catch. That's gotta be 25 of those. What a lucky SOB. Another 20 grand. This one fishing trip is worth my whole year's salary. But before their exclamations could die down, the crew didn't stop. Baskets of cuttlefish were soon added to the mix. The crowd went silent, speechless. This wasn't a fishing trip, it was raiding someone's private fish farm. Seeing that the crowd was growing numb, Bai Pengfei felt deflated. How could he make a splash like this? This wasn't what he had in mind at all. Alright, get the rest of it out here. He shouted. The crew grunted and hauled the last of the fish onto the deck. Holy moly, that's a huge white eel. Must be 2 or 3 pounds. Shoo. Check out that red grouper. I'm guessing at least 18 pounds, or I'll eat my hat. That when the yellowfin tuna, the grand finale, made its appearance, it caused a full-blown sensation. Head over to Pier 69, they got a yellowfin tuna that's over 200 pounds. What? A yellowfin that's over 500? What? A bluefin that's almost a ton. That the crowd surged towards the bow, with more and more people squeezing in from behind, creating a chaotic scene similar to seeing a celebrity up close. The rare fish were the celebrities. Chu Yang was in a cold sweat, worried about the chaos. Bai Pengfei was starting to panic, too. It wouldn't be so funny if someone got pushed into the water. Alright, everyone, take it easy, back up. Don't get trampled. There are no bluefin here, I repeat, no bluefin. Just some regular fish. Everyone move along. After a great deal of persuasion, Wanhuazi managed to break up the crowd and get them to disperse. Bai Pengfei was so exhausted that his face was twisted, his eyes were bloodshot, and his mouth felt like it was full of cotton. Several bystanders who had been duped by the ton of bluefin rumor grumbled as they left, mouthing off under their breath. Serves you right, getting all worked up for nothing, Caillou teased with a laugh. Bai Pengfei rolled his eyes, completely wiped out. He didn't want to say another word for the next 3 days. Let's weigh it, Chu Yang said, wanting to get things over with. Bai Pengfei nodded, and his crew immediately moved the fish to the dock to be weighed and loaded directly onto the trucks. Caillou was busy weighing her fish too. Chu Yang tasked Sun Qingjun with keeping an eye on Bai Pengfei, mainly to take down the weight information. Sun Qingjun was also tasked with accompanying Miss Kai. Soon, Caillou's numbers were in: 269 pounds of yellowfin tuna, 19 pounds of red grouper, 26 pounds of white eel, 208 pounds of golden pomfret, 218 pounds of amberjack, plus the 150 pounds of cuttlefish. Bai Pengfei had a lot more fish, so Chu Yang waited a bit for his tally, and Sun Qingjun handed him the note: 92 pounds of yellowfin tuna, 25 pounds of white eel, 742 pounds of golden pomfret, 338 pounds of amberjack, and the most of all was the cuttlefish, a whopping 1,680 pounds. The total catch for both parties added up to 3,767 pounds. Add in some of the miscellaneous leftover fish, and it came out to exactly 4,000 pounds, not a pound more, not a pound less. Hey, old son, that's even more than we expected. Zhang Hongtao nudged Sun Qingjun excitedly. Sun Qingjun was just as happy. The more fish they caught, the higher their cut of the profit. Congrats, Yang, this fishing trip was a total score, a huge haul. Bai Pengfei clapped Chu Yang on the shoulder. Congrats to you too. The more I catch, the more you make. Bai Pengfei smiled and nodded, admitting it was true. So, let's talk prices, starting with the tuna. He was about to start negotiating, but Kai Yu cut him off. I've already figured them out on my end. Tuna's at $9 a pound, red grouper at $2.25, white eel at $4.50, golden pomfret at $1.30, amberjack at $1.60, and cuttlefish at 90 cents. Hearing her offer, Bai Pengfei's face fell, and the joy from before vanished. Oh, come on, I feel like you guys are playing me. Chapter 63. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Miss Kai, hey, sis, cut me some slack. Bai Pengfei looked miserable, like he was about to burst into tears. This isn't how it's supposed to work. You're the buyer, why are you helping the seller jack up the price? Her offer leaves me with a profit, but it's practically razor thin. Chu Yang knew Bai Pengfei wasn't thrilled. This was about long-term business, not a one-time fleecing. Tell you what, Kai Yu's tuna is bigger and better quality. I'll give you $1.30 a pound for the smaller ones, brother Bai. You have both big and small amberjack, so I'll do 30 cents. The golden pomfret, 24 cents. And 17 cents for the large cuttlefish. Bai Pengfei's hand was a blur as he frantically crunched the numbers. Okay, at those prices, I can work with that. The profit isn't huge, but the volume makes up for it. Plus, these high-end ingredients can open doors to new clients. For instance, I know this real estate mogul in town wants a whole yellowfin tuna for his daughter's birthday, but he's striking out. Imagine if I showed up with that fish in hand. I'd be rolling out the red carpet, and next time he needs top-quality fish, guess who he's calling first? Alright, Yang, you're straight up, and so am I. Let's do it. Bai Pengfei extended his hand with a smile, happy to have reached a deal. Chu Yang shook his hand. Now it was time to tally everything up. Carry the one, 180 times 269 equals. Kai Yu sighed, 269 pounds of yellowfin tuna, $48,420, 19 pounds of red grouper, $855, white eel, $2,250, 208 pounds of golden pomfret, $5,408, 218 pounds of amberjack, $7,630, 150 pounds of cuttlefish, $2,700. Grand total, $67,263, Bai Pengfei's side, 92 pounds of yellowfin tuna, $11,960, white eel, 25 pounds, $2,340, golden pomfret, 742 pounds, $17,808, amberjack, 338 pounds, $10,140, cuttlefish, a whopping 1,680 pounds, $28,560. Grand total, $70,808. Between them, that's $138,000. Zhang Hongtao and Sun Qingjun exchanged glances, barely able to contain their grins. After settling the accounts, Bai Pengfei went back to his car and returned with a black plastic bag. Yang, count it up. Chu Yang took the bag, peeked inside, and saw 7 stacks of crisp, new $100 bills, with a scattering of smaller bills on top. Looks good. Chu Yang nodded and pocketed the money. Kai Yu also grabbed a black bag with 7 stacks of bills and handed it over. Here you go. Count it. Chu Yang took it, grinning. With you? Nah, I trust you implicitly. What's with this trust crap? Kai Yu wrinkled her nose and huffed, big jerk, you weren't so trusting on the phone. Now you're all about trust when there's money involved. Hee hee. Chu Yang chuckled and didn't argue. I gotta run, Yang. Got customers waiting back at the shop. Gotta move this fish. Bai Pengfei said his goodbyes. Chu Yang waved. Take it easy, brother Bai. Wouldn't want to keep you from making money. As Bai Pengfei drove off, Chu Yang glanced around to make sure no one was watching, then pulled out a stack of bills from the plastic bag. He didn't count precisely, but he took out almost half the stack and handed it to Caillou. What, you trying to grease my palm? Caillou eyed him, puzzled. Come on, Miss Kai, this is way too obvious to be a bribe. Caillou smiled slightly at that. What's this about, then? Chu Yang grinned. Just wanted to thank you for helping me get a good price on the fish. Even though they were a little flirty, romance, or, friendship, is one thing, business is another. When it's time to show appreciation, Chu Yang never held back. Caillou folded her arms behind her back. Humph, you think you can just throw money at me and make it all better? How insulting. Since she wasn't going to take it, Chu Yang put the money back in the bag. Then, as if suddenly struck by inspiration, he said, head back to the restaurant. I'll get in touch later and give you a surprise. Surprise? What kind of surprise? Caillou asked, tilting her head. A surprise wouldn't be a surprise if I told you, now would it? Go on, I gotta settle up with my crew. Typical jerk, Chu Yang was all smiles until he needed her, then he was kicking her to the curb. Humph, fine, don't tell me. Jerk. Miss Kai stomped on his foot in frustration, then sashayed off the boat. Ow. Chu Yang hopped twice, clutching his foot. When did that girl switch to stilettos? Red with black soles, talk about a critical hit. Chu Yang coughed pointedly when he saw Sun Qingjun and Zhang Hongtao sneakily watching. Ahem. Uncle Jun, Lao Zhang, head to the wheelhouse. Let's have a quick meeting. Zijin, you too. With that, he led the way inside. Sun Qingjun and Zhang Hongtao seemed to have an idea what was coming and followed close behind. Lin Zijin came in last. Chu Yang stood by the door and closed it once everyone was inside. The ship had no desk or chairs, so they all sat around the operating table. So, the reason I called you all here is, well, you've all been working hard lately. I've seen it, and I don't want your efforts to go unrewarded. With that, he dumped out the 14 stacks of bills he'd just received, still practically warm from Bai Pengfei's hands, and piled them on the table. Whoosh, star, all eyes locked on the cash, including Lin Zijin's, $138,000. It wasn't a huge number, but it wasn't small either, but seeing that much cash piled on the table definitely made an impact. Most people in Quanching probably don't make that much in a whole year. Noticing the change in the three faces, Chu Yang nodded in satisfaction. This was exactly the effect he wanted. No wonder those big companies like to hand out year-end bonuses in cash. It's a lot more motivating than empty promises. Chu Yang didn't say much, just started counting. The wheelhouse was quiet save for the rhythmic rustling of bills. Soon, Chu Yang had separated 3 stacks of money, one thicker than the other 2, and slid them across the table. Uncle Jun, Lao Zhang, Zijin, according to our agreement, Lao Zhang and Zijin both get a base salary of $1,500 plus a 5% commission. This time, the commission is $6,900, bringing your total to $8,400. Then, he turned to Sun Qingjun. Uncle Jun, your base salary is $2,000, plus $300 for being captain, plus an 8% commission, which comes to $13,340. I just rounded it up to $13,400 for you. He clapped his hands. Go ahead and count it. Make sure I didn't mess up. What's to count? I trust you. Zhang Hongtao picked up his stack of bills and shuffled them like playing cards. Then he held them to his nose and took a deep breath. Ah, that's the life. What, that's the life? It just smells like ink. Count it. I'm not giving you any more if you're short. Chu Yang scolded with a grin. It was best to count it personally, just in case. Under Chu Yang's insistence, the 3 of them counted their money. Go deposit it later. Don't let the market take it. Chu Yang reminded them. Oh, right, and the giant clams. I don't know what those will go for, but I'll split the profits with you later. Chapter 64. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Forget about that. We didn't contribute much. Just give some to old Sun, okay, Lin. Zhang Hongtao looked at Lin Zijin, she nodded, holding the money in both hands, her voice trembling. I've already gotten so much. She felt dizzy, like she was dreaming, she just wanted a job to support herself, now she's looking at nearly 10 grand after one trip out to sea. She used to mend nets in other towns, making maybe 30 to 50 yuan for 2 or 3 days' work, and that wasn't even guaranteed every day, and you had to fight tooth and nail with a bunch of tough old women for it. No need to be so polite. We signed a contract, what's yours is yours. Giant clams might be worth something, but compared to his reputation, it was nothing, Sun Qingjun thought for a moment. How about this, Yang? We won't be polite this time. If we find another treasure like this, you give each of us a 2% cut, deal? Chu Yang thought that sounded fair. It would make them feel better, so he nodded. Alright, but 2% each. Seeing Sun Qingjun about to object, he stood up. Okay, it's settled. No hard feelings if the money's good. He took the remaining cash and wrapped it up again. Lao Zhang, give me a ride to the bank on your motorcycle. Zhang Hongtao stuffed the money in his pocket, ran to get his motorcycle key, and came back quickly. Let's go, Yang. Chu Yang asked Sun Qingjun and Lin Zijin if they wanted to come. You go on ahead. I'll be there later. I'll take out some of the seafood in the ice hold and set up a stall, Sun Qingjun said. I'll help brother Sun, Lin Zijin said, raising her hand. Chu Yang nodded, emphasizing, okay, but put the money away and don't let any strangers in the cabin to swipe stuff. The dock was crowded with people from everywhere, including thieves, so they needed to be careful. The two got off the boat, found Zhang Hongtao's motorcycle in the parking lot and rode to the Agricultural Bank of China. Seeing Chu Yang, the bank manager greeted him with a smile. Mr. Chu, here to make another deposit, that with over 200,000 in his account, he was a high-value customer for their branch. Yep, depositing 100 grand, Chu Yang said, shaking the black plastic bag. The manager's eyes lit up, and his smile widened. Come on over here, Mr. Chu. I'll help you with that. He led them to the VIP room. Don't you need like, 500,000 to use the VIP room? Zhang Hongtao asked, looking at the sign. The manager smiled. That's just a guideline. I believe you and Mr. Chu will meet the requirements soon. Just getting you familiar with things. Wow, Zhang Hongtao thought, this guy knows how to talk, no wonder he was a bank manager at such a young age. Zhang Hongtao's eyes lit up, and he quietly buttoned the top 2 buttons on his shirt, wishing he'd worn leather shoes, at least sneakers, not flip-flops, they were VIPs now. Showing off in flip-flops was beneath them. The manager helped Chu Yang deposit his money, then Zhang Hongtao. Then he started pushing credit cards. This Jinsui card is specifically for our high-end users. The manager practically had Zhang Hongtao drooling with the high-end user and outstanding individual routine, and he signed up without thinking. Chu Yang was calm. In his previous life, he'd seen all sorts of bankers. During the holidays, the heads of the local branches would come by personally. They were all angling to get Chu's dad to deposit his rent money into their branch. I'm not interested right now. I'll reach out if I need one. Chu Yang was polite but dismissive. He didn't mind credit cards, but this Jinsui card had a measly 100,000 yuan limit. Useless and a waste of space. After leaving the bank, Zhang Hongtao fired up the motorcycle and they headed back. They found Sun Qingjun weighing fish for customers while Lin Zijin collected the cash. 5 fish, 3.2 jin, 68 per jin, 217.60, call it 215. These are leftovers, young lady. How about you round it down to 200? A woman with brown curly hair said. She looked like a teddy bear. No can do, auntie. We agreed to 68 yuan a pound. I can't let it go for 200. Lin Zijin didn't take the money. Oh, you know how to haggle. What's the big deal about rounding it down a few yuan? It's not like anyone else is going to buy these leftovers. You'll just throw them away. The woman snapped. Can't say that. These are good quality. These sell for 70 or 80 at other stands. If you think it's too much, you can go somewhere else. Don't want to hold up the line, right? Lin Zijin retorted calmly. The woman wanted to keep haggling, but the customer behind her got impatient. Auntie, are you gonna buy it or not? If not, move aside. I'll take it for 215. Can you bag it up for me? A young mother holding a child said to Lin Zijin. Seeing someone about to snatch her fish, the aunt glared at the woman. Who said I wasn't buying it? Have some manners. Don't you know the first come, first served rule? Just 215. Here, that she reluctantly pulled out another 15 yuan and slapped it into Lin Zijin's hand. Give me my fish. She grabbed a bag of fish from Sun Qingjun, along with several plastic bags, and stomped off. The young mother was also annoyed. What's her problem? Acting like she's entitled because she's old, and saying I have no class. Unreal. Lin Zijin chimed in, don't let it get to you. Arguing with people like that is pointless. Just pick out some good fish for the baby. Hearing that, the mother calmed down. You're right, I don't have time for that nonsense. Help me bag up these carp. Sure thing. Carp is good for milk production, and they'll make your baby nice and chubby. Uncle Lai Jun, could you weigh these carp for her? Zhang Hongtao was speechless. Is this the same Lin Daiyu I know? Chu Yang was also surprised. He never expected Lin Zijin, usually so quiet, to be such a natural at this. Could this be the legendary innate fish-selling talent? Chapter 65. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In front of the fish stall, Lin Zijin held up a wad of bills, carefully checking them against the sunlight. With so many fakes going around, a counterfeit Mao Zedong would be infuriating. Hey, how much for the Black Sea bream? Someone's voice startled her. Black Sea bream. She wasn't selling black hair. Excuse me, sir. Thinking the customer had confused Black Sea bream with something else, she started to explain, but then she looked down and saw Chu Yang grinning at her. Oh. Captain. Lin Zijin stammered, suddenly losing her sales pitch. She felt like an author caught writing smut by her family, mortified and blushing furiously. It's alright, isn't it cute? Chu Yang chuckled and playfully ruffled her hair. Honestly, he just thought she was adorable in that moment, endearingly awkward, but seeing her forehead beaded with sweat, like a pressure cooker about to blow, he knew he was pushing it. So, Uncle Jun, how much is left? Chu Yang quickly changed the subject. Sun Qingjun pointed to a small pile of fish at his feet. About 50 or 60 kilos. Should be gone in half an hour. Chu Yang glanced at the remaining fish. Decent stuff. Just a mix of catches from longlining and trawling, black sea bream, spotted sea bream, sea bass, silver bream, white mullet, turbot. Some even more expensive than amberjack, but the quantities were too small and inconsistent for the high-end restaurants, so they were stuck selling them individually. Forget it, not much left. Let's just take it home and try some. Seeing no other customers, Chu Yang told them to pack up the stall. Captain, here's the money from today's sales. Lin Zijin, having regained her composure, handed Chu Yang a black plastic bag. He took it and counted. Wow, not bad. A little over an hour at the fish stall had netted them 4,500 yuan, 200 kilos of mixed fish, averaging about 20-odd yuan a kilo. Alright, let's split the money. This time Chu Yang didn't bother counting every last bill. He gave 500 yuan to each of them, and pocketed the remaining 3,000. Okay, call your families, go have fun, do whatever you need to. We'll meet at the village dock next time we head out. I'll call you, so see ya. With that, Chu Yang hopped off the boat. Only fishermen knew the bliss of solid ground under their feet. Chu Yang wasn't about to linger on the boat after docking. Walking leisurely on the dock, Chu Yang tried calling Professor Zhu Ming to ask about giant clams, but got no answer. He tried Kai Jun too, but he was still unavailable. Weird, both of them are unreachable. Did they go to sea together? That without any work to do, Chu Yang decided to embrace idleness. He called Bai Pengfei, and finally got through. Hey, Yang, what's up? Forget to set aside the good fish. You calling me over now? Bai Pengfei boomed into the phone. Nah, just wanted to ask, brother Bai, is that bathhouse you mentioned serious? Silence on the other end. Then, after a few seconds, Bai Pengfei's suggestive laughter filled the line. Serious? Ha ha ha, I guarantee it's serious. I'll set it up tonight. Not open in the afternoon? Chu Yang asked. It's open. Then why wait till tonight? Bai Pengfei. Fine, I'll come pick you up now. Where are you? Down by the dock, in front of Qingqing Hair Salon, waiting for you. He hung up. The power of American cars was legit. In under 10 minutes, a Cadillac CT5 pulled up by the curb. Chu Yang stood up, stamped his feet, brushed the cigarette ash off his shoes, opened the back door, and hopped in. Your sister asked me to be your chauffeur. Bai Pengfei chuckled. Chu Yang grinned. Wouldn't want to presume. The only reason I didn't sit in the front is because I wouldn't want to take the sister-in-law's seat. I'm buying that, said Bai Pengfei, shaking his head as he hit the gas. Soon, two guys, arms slung around each other's shoulders, piled out in front of the Honglang bathhouse. Inside the lobby, Bai Pengfei greeted the front desk like an old friend, grabbed 2 wristbands, and handed one to Chu Yang. Yang, that bracelet. He was about to caution him, but Chu Yang had already slapped the plastic wristband on, slipped off his shoes, and stepped into the slippers the attendant offered. Gonna head upstairs and shower first. Beat. He tromped upstairs to the second floor. Damn. Bai Pengfei stood there dumbfounded for a second, then followed with a grin. He'd assumed Chu Yang was playing it cool, putting on an act. Just a fisherman, how much game could he have? He'd show his true colors as soon as they got to the real thing, but now. The kid looked like a natural. Kids in college are already this seasoned these days. Bai Pengfei mused. Up on the second floor, Chu Yang scoped out the scene. Not bad, actually, fancier than he expected. Then again, it wasn't that surprising. Chuanzhou was a decent-sized city, close to the port terminal. Lots of ocean-going fishing boats and international cargo ships docked here. The economy was pretty lively, and there were plenty of rich young guys and bosses around. 10 years ago, Beijing's paradise on earth was legendary. 10 years later, Chuanzhou had a bunch of clubs with decor that could rival anything in later generations. Perfectly normal. Anyway, Chu Yang showered and found a 42-degree hot tub to sink into, resting his head on the edge. The upside to the afternoon was that it was nearly empty. Chu Yang's pool was deserted. He basically had the place to himself. Ah, this hits the spot. After 3 days of backbreaking work, the hot water soothed every pore. Chu Yang sighed with pleasure. After a while, Bai Pengfei came stomping over. Seeing Chu Yang already in the tub, he automatically started to climb in, but then he hesitated. What's up? Come on in, the temperature's good. Chu Yang invited him warmly. Bai Pengfei waved his hands. Nah, water's too hot. I prefer lukewarm. He headed to the next tub, muttering something about animal under his breath. Can't handle the heat. You're not getting soft, are you, brother Bai? Chu Yang teased. Bai Pengfei flipped him the bird from across the room. You're soft. After soaking for 10 minutes, the steam was thick. Chu Yang felt a little drowsy. Just as he was drifting off, Bai Pengfei climbed out, wrapped a towel around his waist, came up behind him, and slapped him on the shoulder. Come on, Yang, let's go up to the 3rd floor for a massage. Brother's got you covered. Chapter 66. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This is bad. Was that massage you mentioned for real? 'Cause if it's not legit, I'm not going. Chu Yang narrowed his eyes. Oh, come on, still playing coy. If you don't go, I will. Bai Pengfei made a show of walking away. Chu Yang opened his eyes wide. All right. Just to confirm the truth of your words, I've decided to go and see for myself. And maybe critique your decadent, capitalist lifestyle while I'm at it. TSK. Bai Pengfei waved his hand dismissively. You intellectuals are so full of it. I just want to know how you can make chasing pleasure sound so damn noble. Chu Yang said seriously, now, Brother Bai, you've got it all wrong. Like they say, attraction starts with a single glance, and fades when the magic is gone. I may not enjoy washing feet, but I appreciate the dirt from walking through life, and the smoothing effects of time. For you and me, this might just be an after-work thing, but for them, it's what keeps them going. Bai Pengfei just stared with a blank expression. Clearly, Chu Yang's philosophical mumbo-jumbo had completely blown the mind of young Bai, who hadn't yet been exposed to the infinite wisdom of the internet. So, my little hobby is practically a sacred duty? What are we waiting for? Let's roll. They sauntered up to the third floor, and a waiter led them to their rooms. Chu Yang glanced at Bai Pengfei, who was already pushing open the door to the room next door. Hey, Brother Bai, you next to me? Yep, don't worry, Yang. I know this place like the back of my hand. I'm in the private room right next door. Holler if you need anything. Chu Yang shook his head. I was just wondering if you wanted to switch rooms. Huh? Switch? Why would I want to switch? Bai Pengfei looked totally lost. After a beat, it dawned on him. Oh. You mean switch technicians, right? No problem. If you don't like yours, just swap her out. Never mind. Chu Yang just shook his head, said nothing more, and walked into his room. The lights were dim. Chu Yang checked the massage table, found it clean, kicked off his slippers, and flopped down. Soon, the sound of high heels clicking on the faux wood floor approached. Click, 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 click. A technician in a pink cheongsam walked in, her hair styled in two buns like Neza, all bright and cheery. Sir, I'm technician number 1, Qian. I'm happy to serve you. Chu Yang turned to look at her. The dim lighting was intentional. First, it kept the guests from feeling self-conscious. Second, in the dark, with a little makeup, the technicians automatically got a beauty boost. A girl who was a solid 7 could suddenly look like a 9, that's why guys often fantasized about meeting goddesses, only to realize the goddess only existed inside the massage room. Qian had delicate features and wasn't very tall, maybe 5 feet 5 inches in heels, a typical petite southern girl. Come on in. Chu Yang nodded. With his permission, Qian entered the room, set down her toolbox, turned, and closed the door tightly. Boss, let me start with your feet. Okay, but don't call me boss. Boss was a popular term, but it sounded too corny to Chu Yang. What should I call you then? Qian was already holding Chu Yang's feet and beginning to gently massage them. Just call me handsome. Chu Yang grinned. Ah, wouldn't that be rude? Qian giggled shyly, moving her hands up to massage his calves. Chu Yang squinted his eyes, enjoying the sensation. Nah. Just kidding, handsome is the highest compliment a man can get. A man's a teenager till the day he dies. What guy doesn't want to be handsome for life? Chu Yang savored the massage. After a while, he heard Qian say. Handsome, I've finished the legs. Next, I'll do your back. Alright. Chu Yang shifted position and lay on the slightly narrow bed. Handsome, I'll start now. If you want to feel luxurious, you've got to get your back rubbed with essential oils. 2.5 hours later, Bai Pengfei was slumped on his bed, smoking, with technician number 8 gently massaging his shoulders. Mr. Bai, would you like to add more time? Your friend doesn't seem to be done yet. Bai Pengfei blew out a smoke ring, cursing under his breath. Damn animal. Yeah, add 2 more hours. I refuse to believe. At 6:30 in the evening, Chu Yang walked out of his room, looking refreshed. The door to the next room was open, but Bai Pengfei wasn't inside. Chu Yang flagged down a waiter, and found out Mr. Bai had left an hour ago. He probably went to grab something to eat. Chu Yang touched his stomach, realizing he was starving, and headed downstairs. In the buffet restaurant on the first floor, Chu Yang found Bai Pengfei slumped in a recliner, smoking and drinking tea. "Hey, brother Bai, you're quick. All full?" Chu Yang teased. Bai Pengfei just glared. He finally understood what Chu Yang meant by switch one. He wanted to switch to a room that wasn't right next door. "Just go, go, go." Chu Yang grinned and went to get a plate, loaded it up with seafood, and ordered a bowl of scallion oil noodles. He'd burned a lot of energy, and needed to refuel. After eating his fill and washing it down with a beer, Chu Yang went back to Bai Pengfei and found a recliner nearby. He reached into his pocket, only to realize he hadn't brought any cigarettes. "Hey, brother Bai, bum a smoke." Bai Pengfei rolled his eyes and tossed him a pack of soft cigarettes. Chu Yang didn't hesitate. He lit one and stuffed the rest into his robe pocket, and grabbed the lighter as well. "Hey! You jerk! Give me back my lighter." Bai Pengfei reached for it. He could smoke his cigarettes, but he wasn't getting away with the lighter. But Chu Yang was ready and dodged, not giving in. Bai Pengfei, furious, kept calling him names. After finishing the cigarette, Chu Yang checked the time on his phone. It was after 7. He jumped up, raising his eyebrows at Bai Pengfei. "What now? Gimme your car. Seriously? You're not going to go chasing after Miss Kai, are you?" Bai Pengfei reluctantly pulled out his keys. Chu Yang gave him a knowing look, grabbed the keys, and took off. "Ugh, scum." Bai Pengfei muttered under his breath. He went to pay the bill, only to be told it had already been taken care of. Curious about the going rate for this kind of thing, Chu Yang asked how much it cost. "Sir, your total comes to 1286, including 88 for the bath package, 598 for the full body massage, and 600 yuan for the 4 extra hours. As she read out the last item, the beautiful cashier in an OL uniform suddenly widened her eyes. This customer looked a little on the slim side. Was he really that robust? Thinking of that, she gave Chu Yang a quick glance, and a faint blush crept across her face. Chapter 67. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At the entrance of Harbor Fishing Village Restaurant, a red Cadillac CT5 pulled up slowly. Beep beep star. Chu Yang gave a couple of quick honks, then waited a few seconds. A gorgeous woman came out of the restaurant. Recognizing him in the driver's seat, she opened the passenger door and got in. "What do you want?" Kai-yu crossed her arms, stared straight ahead, and asked coldly. Chu Yang didn't start the car right away. He just tilted his head and looked at her, figuring she was still ticked off from earlier, and rightly so. Miss Kai was the dock's darling. Usually, every guy around was tripping over himself to get her attention. Today, Chu Yang had basically kicked her off the boat. Major ego blow. Any other guy would be falling all over himself, begging for forgiveness, groveling like crazy. Anything to appease a goddess like that, but Chu Yang wasn't just anyone. He was a future internet sensation for being a master with women. He knew you couldn't reason with them when they were mad. All logic went right out the window. The best way to handle it was to switch gears entirely. "Hey, you changed clothes? Did you dress up for me?" Chu Yang asked with a grin. "Who did I dress up for? Get over yourself." Kai-yu still looked tense, but her voice wasn't quite as icy. Chu Yang didn't let it faze him. He kept smiling. "That yellow cherry dress looks amazing on you. Way better than that black chiffon thing you had on earlier." "Really?" Kai-yu's face softened a little. So, the big lug did notice what she was wearing. "Yeah, that color really makes your legs look amazing. Let me check if you're wearing stockings." He leaned to the right, pretending to take a closer look. "Knock it off, stop it, you jerk." Kai-yu was cracking, grabbing his hands with both of hers and pushing him back. She was scolding him, but with a smile, and glancing nervously out the window. People were walking by all the time, and they were right in front of her restaurant. If someone she knew saw them, there'd be hell to pay. Chu Yang put on his best act, pretending to be a doctor, giving Miss Kai's smooth, pale legs a quick squeeze before throwing in the towel. Smells good. He even held his finger up to his nose and sniffed it right in front of her, smirking. You're not allowed to smell it. Kaiyu blushed, grabbing his hand and gently pinching his nose. Crisis averted. Of course, Chu Yang's method only worked with someone he already had some chemistry with. If a girl wasn't into you, and you tried to tease and touch her like that, you'd be eating a handful of knuckles and possibly facing assault charges. Help, I can't breathe. Let go. Chu Yang puffed out his cheeks and spoke in a muffled voice. You deserve to suffocate. Kaiyu shot back, but she still let go and grabbed a napkin to wipe her fingers. Ugh, greasy. She shook her hand in disgust. Hey, no way, don't blame me for that. I just showered. I scrubbed good. Chu Yang protested. Oh, you showered? Where did you shower, exactly? Kaiyu seemed to catch on and glared at him. Ahem. Chu Yang almost smacked himself. Rookie mistake. Where else would I go? The hotel. He replied smoothly. Before Kaiyu could ask which hotel, he changed the subject. Aren't you dying to know what surprise I brought back for you? Sure enough, Kaiyu's attention snapped right to it. Are you going to tell me now? Chu Yang grinned. Absolutely. Feast your eyes on this. He reached back and yanked off a red cloth covering something in the back seat. Underneath was a massive shell, gray on the outside, pearly white inside. The car's interior lights caught it just right, making it glow with a faint, moonlit sheen. Wow! What a gorgeous shell. They say women are like dragons, with a weakness for shiny things. Chu Yang figured there was something to that. Kaiyu was completely mesmerized. Did you find this when you were out at sea? Kaiyu asked. Chu Yang then launched into the story of how he'd found that weird reef island, how he discovered the entrance by boat, and how he'd stumbled upon the giant shell. Naturally, he exaggerated his own heroics. Sun Qingjun wouldn't mind, he figured. That's amazing. It sounds like Shangri-La. I wish I'd been on the boat with you. I would have loved to go treasure hunting. Kaiyu looked at Chu Yang with longing. There'll be other chances. When I get a bigger boat, I'll take you out to sea. Yes. Kaiyu nodded enthusiastically, already picturing the two of them sailing the high seas, a romantic escape on the water. But first, I need to save up enough to buy that big boat, Chu Yang pointed out. So, you're thinking of selling this shell? Kaiyu caught on right away, and her brow furrowed. Chu Yang nodded. I did a little research. I think this thing is called a giant clam. Like pearls, coral, and amber, it's considered a gem. It could be worth a lot. Could you help me find someone who knows about this stuff? See if anyone wants to buy it. Okay, sure. No problem. Even though she wasn't thrilled about the idea, Kaiyu agreed. She already had a plan. If need be, she'd have her dad buy it. The old man loved collecting weird antiques anyway. He'd been ripped off so many times it wasn't even funny. Better to keep it in the family than let some stranger profit. Meanwhile, at a villa in Quancheng, a middle-aged guy with a beer belly suddenly sneezed. Achoo! 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 He sniffed. Who's thinking about me? Across from him, a guy in a polo shirt, Uncle Zheng, chuckled. More like who's thinking about your daughter, eh? Bullshit. Nobody better be. I'll break their legs. The man slammed his hand on the table, rattling the golden Pichio statue on the tea tray. Uncle Zheng just smirked and sipped his tea. Finally, the man, seeing Uncle Zheng's knowing grin, looked suspicious. Hey, Zheng, you being serious? Don't ask me if it's true or not. My niece will rip my beard off if she finds out I'm blabbing. Uncle Zheng clammed up, saying no more. The middle-aged man put down his teacup, his appetite gone. I gotta call and check on this. Seconds later, a sudden phone ring startled two lovebirds on Binjiang Road in a Cadillac hidden away under some trees. Chapter 68. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dad, what's up? Why the sudden call? In the back of the Cadillac, Caillou straightened her collar, shot a glare at someone still causing trouble, and spoke into the phone. Oh, nothing. Just having tea with your Uncle Zheng, and your name came up, so I figured I'd give you a ring. Her dad chuckled, then quickly changed the subject. Yo-yo, what are you up to? Took you forever to answer. Just wrapping up some business down at the docks, okay? Gotta go. I'll catch you tonight when I'm home. She hung up. Beep, beep. Listening to the dial tone, her dad stared at the darkening screen, suddenly feeling like something was slipping away. Geez, I'm on the phone. What if my dad finds out? After hanging up, Caillou playfully punched Chu Yang in the chest. Relax. Didn't you say we were talking business? It's natural to have someone around. Still, what if he asks about it? Caillou pouted, her pink lips glistening. She'd put on lip gloss before they left, making them look like they were coated in honey. Chu Yang, curious about the flavor, leaned in for a taste. Hey, stop it. You'll mess it up, and I'll have to reapply. Caillou put up a token resistance but soon surrendered, closing her eyes. The only sound in the car was the rhythmic smacking of lips. Suddenly, another phone ring broke them apart. Caillou's eyes snapped open. She pushed herself away, shook her head to clear the daze, and gasped for air. Answer it quick. I'm getting out for a walk. I'm bored stiff. She practically dove for the door. If she stayed in the car any longer, she worried she wouldn't be able to control herself. Meanwhile, Chu Yang fished his phone out from between the seats. The caller ID read Professor Zhu Ming. Gotta answer this. Hello, Professor Zhu, it's Chu Yang. Yes. Been trying to reach you all day. Just wanted to see if you had a moment to consult on giant clams. If you're free, and you're from the Ocean College of Huaqiao University, right? Great. I'll be right over. Hanging up, Chu Yang leaned out the window and yelled, Caillou. Get back in the car. Why? Miss Kai asked cautiously. No time to explain. I'll tell you on the way. Half an hour later, the car pulled onto Chenghua Avenue in the Fengzi district of Quanzhou, passing under the classic semicircular arched gates of Huaqiao University. Driving through campus, buildings with a distinct Southeast Asian style lined the road. Perhaps due to the school's unique nature, the students and faculty at Huaqiao University were generally quite well off. A fact evident in the number of imported cars parked in the campus lots and the prevalence of Adidas and Nike on the students walking by. Guided by Caillou, they navigated the roads and easily found the Ocean College. How do you know your way around so well? You come here often? Chu Yang asked, curious. Caillou tilted her head, grinning. Guess. I'm guessing. Ugh, fine, I went to college here. Studied marine biology for 4 years. How could I not know my way around? Chu Yang's eyes widened. No wonder you know Professor Zhu. Finally, the car stopped in front of the Ocean College's lab building. Kai Jun was already standing at the door, waving. Chu Yang got out and, carrying the millstone-sized giant clam, followed him upstairs. He entered a room filled with experimental equipment and lab benches and finally spotted Zhu Ming. Zhu Ming, in a white lab coat, was hunched over a microscope, seemingly running an experiment. The professor is running a small marine aquaculture underwater robot project based on biomimetic manta rays, and is currently analyzing the different body structure data of the manta ray. Kai Jun explained quietly. Chu Yang listened intently, nodding occasionally. Even if he didn't understand a thing, he had to project an air of competence. After 7 or 8 minutes, Zhu Ming finally looked up from the microscope and started scribbling notes in a notebook. After jotting down a couple rows of data and closing the notebook, he noticed the 2 new arrivals in the lab. Hey, Xiao Chu, Yo-Yo, you're here. Sorry, didn't see you. No worries, Professor, we apologize for disturbing you. After exchanging greetings, Zhu Ming's gaze fell on the large shell behind Chu Yang. Wow, it's rare to see a giant clam this well preserved. He approached the enormous clam, examining it inch by inch. Professor, is it really a giant clam? But it doesn't look like the gems you find inside. Caillou said with a grin. It is indeed a giant clam, but it's far from a gemstone as you are referring to. Only this part might be considered such. Zhu Ming pointed to a moon-white section at the end of the shell, about the size of a ping-pong paddle. The so-called giant clam you're talking about is actually the shell of this bivalve mollusk, a jade fossil formed under the influence of the seabed environment, and the product of cutting, carving, and polishing. The professor was indeed a professor, and Chu Yang only understood a few words. The giant clam was like an uncut jade. The jade-like section was the gem, while the rest was just ordinary shell. Looking at it that way, this giant clam didn't seem so large. Chu Yang guessed it might yield around 3 kilograms of gems at most. Xiao Chu, are you planning to sell this? Zhu Ming asked. Chu Yang nodded. While he would have loved to keep it, he was short on cash at the moment. Big ships, new cars, houses, all cost a fortune. He'd have to wait until later. Then you need to be careful. These are living creatures, a first-class nationally protected marine species. Most people probably wouldn't dare collect them. Zhu Ming warned. Chu Yang's heart skipped a beat. Was this all for nothing? While living giant clams were protected, who would know if he'd taken it alive? If someone reported him, not only would he lose the clam, but he could face up to 2 years in prison. If it were Chu Yang himself, he wouldn't dare collect one casually. What should we do? Professor, please help me figure something out. Caillou grabbed Zhu Ming's sleeve and tugged it back and forth. At worst, I'll swipe 2 packs of Lao Kai's premium Keishi tea for you next time. Zhu Ming smiled and shook his head. You. Lao Kai cherished his fine teas. If he knew his daughter was willing to steal his prized Keishi to help another man, he'd probably have a fit. All right, how can I refuse after you've said all that? Anyway, it was someone else's little cotton jacket that was leaking. Zhu Ming was happy to watch the fun. I'll help you get a certificate in the Ocean College's name. Just write that this giant clam is a shell fossil collected for scientific research purposes. That should take care of any issues. Chu Yang eagerly grabbed Zhu Ming's hand and shook it. Thank you so much, Professor. Chapter 69. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chu Yang came back empty-handed. The giant clam was still at the lab. Getting a certificate wasn't as simple as writing a few lines on paper. They needed a photo for their records and the school seal, basically registering it like it was part of the official records. It was a whole process. Zhu Ming probably wouldn't go out of his way to help just anyone. Hey, are you tight with Professor Zhu? Chu Yang asked after getting in the car. Yeah, I've known him since I was a kid. He and my dad are friends, they always have tea together. Plus, it sounds like our families go way back, even came from Southeast Asia together. He's the one who pushed me to apply for oceanography at Huaqiao University. Turns out it was an old family friend. That explained it, but Caillou's family seemed more complex than he'd realized. So, does your family do anything besides the restaurant? Chu Yang asked, genuinely curious. Caillou tensed up a bit. Nope, just the restaurant. Gotcha. Chu Yang didn't press it. Caillou let out a silent sigh. She was really worried about how to explain her family's restaurants without making Chu Yang feel awkward. It was a tough spot. Leaving Huaqiao University, Chu Yang took Caillou to Xinhuadu Plaza. Compared to Dehui Plaza back in Shishir, Xinhuadu was older and smaller, only about 193,000 square feet, but the location was prime. The corner of Fengzi Street and Tianan Road, the busiest part of Fengzi district. Plus, the parking was good. And because it had been around a while, with a bunch of well-known stores, it was still a popular spot. It was evening when they got there. Lots of older folks were bringing their grandkids out for a stroll after dinner. When they walked in, it was buzzing. It reminded Chu Yang of tagging along with his boss's wife at the Wanda back in his old life. You okay? Caillou asked, noticing him spacing out. Yeah, just thought I saw someone I knew. Must have been mistaken. Let's go. He grabbed her hand and headed for the women's clothing section. Back in 2007, luxury brands weren't a huge thing in China yet. The most popular stores were still the affordable domestic brands like Peacebird, Qian Baihui, and La Chapelle. Affordable was relative, of course. Like the red jumpsuit Caillou was trying on right now, priced at 599 yuan, with a tiny discount, basically 10 days' pay for the average office worker. Looks great on you. Really shows off your figure, Chu Yang said, checking out the V-neck. He smiled and gave her a thumbs up. He wouldn't have to worry about the kid going hungry anytime soon. Really? Hold this for me, then. I want to look around some more. It was said that women were like trains, shopping and eating, shopping and eating, shopping and eating. Chu Yang could see it. After trying on a bunch of stuff, Chu Yang was losing steam. His compliments started to sound less genuine. Yeah, looks good. Not bad. Pretty. Ugh. I'm done trying stuff on. Caillou put her hands on her hips. Impatient man, she was annoyed. I'll go pay, then. Chu Yang leaped up, relieved, and strode toward the register. If he had to choose between spending a day shopping with Caillou and spending a day online, he would choose, letting Caillou spend a day online. Just kidding. He figured once a month should be enough. He didn't want her to develop a habit. That would be scary. That'll be 1,958 yuan, sir. The clothes weren't cheap, but considering Caillou's family background, it was still relatively low-key. Chu Yang paid, grabbed the bag, and followed Caillou out. As they passed the jewelry section, she stopped, her eyes drawn to a deer antler necklace in the display case. Let's go, Chu Yang said, already a few steps ahead. Caillou stomped her foot and hurried after him. Big jerk. After finding the car and tossing the bags in the back, Chu Yang said, Hey, wait here. I need to hit the restroom, be right back. Okay, I'll wait in the car. Hurry up. Yep. He turned and headed back toward the mall. About 10 minutes later, Chu Yang returned to the parking lot and drove off. He dropped Caillou off near the entrance of her fancy neighborhood, stopping about 100 meters from the security booth. Bye. Drive safe, take it slow, and text me when you get home. Caillou reminded him, reaching for the bags, but Chu Yang stopped her. Hang on. Caillou turned, confused. Chu Yang pulled out a red jewelry box like a magician. This is. He grinned and opened the box. A platinum deer antler necklace sparkled on the black velvet. This is from the big jerk. You like it? He asked, teasing. Ugh, you're the worst, Caillou said playfully, diving into his arms. Then she turned around, tilting her head up at him. Chu Yang got the hint, taking the necklace and fastening it around her slender, pale neck. His hand slipped slightly. Half an hour later, Caillou reached her building. She opened the door to find her dad sitting on the sofa, the lights on. He looked at her with a touch of sadness. Dad? What are you doing here? Caillou's heart raced, but she kept her cool. You didn't tell me you were coming. I thought there was a burglar. He didn't answer, just stared at the shopping bags and the necklace. Working with a client this late? Yep. What kind of client? Buying you clothes and jewelry. I bought these after meeting the client. We went shopping. Ask Xiaoying if you don't believe me. She was with me. Caillou put her hands on her hips, feigning innocence. Okay. He stood up. Well, you're back, so I'll get going. Caillou nodded quickly. All right, head home. Good night, see ya. He turned back at the door. Next time, introduce me to this client. Your old man wants to check him out. He gave her a knowing look and left, a mix of emotions on his face. After closing the door, Caillou walked into the bathroom, humming to herself. she wanted to admire her new gift, but when she looked in the mirror, Caillou froze. There were little red marks on her neck, like plum blossoms in the snow. Ugh, Chu Yang. Achoo, achoo, achoo. Chu Yang sneezed 3 times. Maybe the system was thinking about him. He'd finally had time to open the treasure chest. It was just a black iron one, which made him silently curse Tongzi, but at least it was a treasure chest he'd found by the sea, so he would go back tomorrow and see what he could find. Chapter 70. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next morning, Chu Yang took the ferry back to the island and headed back to the village. As he approached the village entrance, he spotted a group of kids engrossed in a paper bag battle, surrounded by spectators, including Chu Shi and Xiao Haidai. Getting closer, he saw Sun Xiang and He Yuanheng facing off. The atmosphere was intense, like they were gladiators in the Roman Colosseum. Sun Xiang, you're down to your last paper bag, right? Lose this one, and the grassy hill and the swing set are mine. You can't play there without my permission, He Yuanheng declared, brandishing a fistful of paper bags. Yeah, no sliding down the hill unless you trade me for KFC. One of his chubby followers chimed in. And no swings either. Added a skinny kid. On the other side of the makeshift arena, Sun Xiang looked determined, clutching his sole paper bag, knuckles white. Despite his nerves, he stood his ground. No way, I'm not losing. I can win it all back with this one bag. Go get Xiang. Chu Shi shouted, cupping her hands around her mouth like a tiny megaphone. Yeah, go. Xiao Haidai squeaked, hiding in the back. Ha ha ha, you're toast. Just wait, till you start crying. And don't think you're the only one with a brother. He Yuanheng sneered, his chubby face contorted with disdain at Chu Shi's support for Sun Xiang. Humph, my brother's awesome. He'll beat you up, you bully. Chu Shi retorted, hands on her hips. My brother's awesome too. He's back, so I'm not scared of you anymore. Sun Xiang chimed in. Chu Shi yelled, my brother's awesome. He's a college student and he goes out of town all alone. Sun Xiang countered, my brother goes to school in the city too. Still feeling like he needed a trump card, he blurted out, my brother dares to eat, well, you know. Does your brother dare? Now Chu Yang started to panic. Seeing Chu Shi's eagerness, he pushed through the crowd and clapped a hand over her mouth. MMP. Chu Shi made muffled sounds, trying to finish her sentence, but Chu Yang wasn't about to let his little sister ruin his reputation. He glared at He Yuanheng with a menacing look. You little punk bullying people again. Looking for trouble, he made a move as if to kick him. He Yuanheng, who had been so cocky just moments before, turned into a coward. He fell on his butt, scattering paper bags everywhere. Wah! The pain in his rear combined with the fear he felt toward the big devil sent him into tears. Seeing his plan work, Chu Yang nodded and lowered his foot. Get lost, all of you. The 2 little followers scurried away, dragging the whiny He Yuanheng with them. Chu Yang took his hand off Chu Shi's mouth. But brother, why don't you dare to eat? The little girl was still fuming, feeling like she'd lost ground in the challenge. Chu Yang sighed inwardly. Easy, easy, she's my sister. After reminding himself twice, Chu Yang resisted the urge to suggest Chu Shi try some bamboo shoots. Come on, let's go home. Okay, I'll go tell Auntie first. While Chu Yang was at sea, Chu Shi had stayed with Auntie Sun and her family. I'll come with you. The brother and sister, along with Sun Xiang and Haidai, headed toward Sun Qingjuan's house. Sun Xiang led the way, but kept glancing back. Chu Yang knew what he wanted. Stop looking. I got back early, and KFC isn't open yet. I'll take you to the city to eat next time. Really, brother? Have I ever let you down? Hearing that, Sun Xiang practically skipped with excitement. He kicked open his front door and yelled, Mom, Dad, come quick. My brother's here. Soon, Auntie Sun came out. Having heard the commotion, she shot Sun Xiang a stern look, then greeted Chu Yang with a smile. Yang, you're back. Come on in. No thanks, Auntie. Just came to pick up Chu Shi and ask if Uncle Jun's back yet. Chu Yang asked casually. Yeah, he got back yesterday afternoon and gave me 12,000 yuan, said it was your share of the catch. Auntie Sun lowered her voice for the last part. Thank you, Yang. What are you thanking me for? Uncle Jun earned it. It was my first time at sea, and he helped me out so much. Things went smoothly because of him. Chu Yang smiled and waved it off, not wanting to take credit. He didn't correct the amount. After all, guys look out for each other, and it's understandable for a married man to want to save some money. Don't be so humble. He's been on boats before, but he's never brought home that much money. You're generous and you take good care of him. Auntie Sun said. Chu Yang smiled, not wanting to dwell on it. Isn't Uncle Jun home? He changed the subject. He went out to the mudflats early this morning to dig for clams. It's low tide today. Auntie Sun said. Oh, I think I'll go find him. It just so happened that he found a black iron treasure chest there yesterday, and he can open it while he's at it. Brother, are you going to the mudflats? I'll go too. Hearing that Chu Yang was going to the beach, Sun Xiang quickly grabbed 2 stacks of paper bags from his pocket. These were the spoils of war Chu Yang had seized when he chased away the bully. He dumped the paper bags on the stone table and ran inside to get his gloves, net bag, and shovel, but when he got back, the yard was empty. Hey, where'd he go? Why didn't he wait for me? He was about to run after Chu Yang, but Auntie Sun stopped him, a dark look on her face. Hold on. Tell me what these paper bags are all about. She grabbed one of the bags and handed it to Sun Xiang. Seeing the words "Moonlight shines brightly" in front of the bed, it seems like frost on the ground printed on it. Sun Xiang felt a shiver run down his spine. He tried to bolt, but nobody knows a son better than his mother. Auntie Sun grabbed him by the scruff of the neck, and a feather duster appeared in her other hand. I was wondering why your book of 300 Tang poems went missing. If it wasn't for Chu Yang reminding me, I wouldn't have realized you were using it to fold paper. And so, a loving mother wields the duster, and spanks her runaway son. 12 strikes a second, each one a critical hit. Ah, brother, you're so mean. If you don't want to take me, that's fine, but why'd you have to rat me out? 200 yards away, Chu Yang heard the screams of pain mingled with the sound of bamboo shoots being stir-fried with meat, and his heart felt unusually light. You little brat, you almost ruined my reputation. If I can't bring myself to punish my sister, there's no way I'm letting you off the hook.